Just like me. These skins still in the game. Mm-mm-mm.
Oh my god.
Bro, this game is so cool.
Okay. Just don't fall on his things. Okay. Oh my god. He's making holes in reality. Oh! Wow! Okay.
Whoa.
Fuck! I'm dead. Where'd I go?
Oh.
And then I spawned on top of a
I gotta jump. Oh, I gotta jump on the lilies. Fuck. Okay. All right, let's do this again. Okay.
Black Bono, thank you.
How is he doing this?
Oh god.
Zoe.
Oh god.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh god. Okay. 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 Oh. Oh.
Oh, it's getting faster.
Oh my god.
It's just a cutscene. It's just. I know how scary.
Yo, you watched the way. Yeah.
Invisible.
I'm watching them play this game.
Bad cutscenes.
Holy shit.
Shall not pass.
Damn, this quality's bad.
Okay.
Oh god.
Whoa.
Oh, I love when they do that. Okay, bro.
Bruh, why are you aiming towards me?
Oh shit, the fight. Oh boy. Okay, I see the glitch. Oh shit. Stay alive. Just stay alive for 9 minutes. Okay. Oh my god.
Oh my god, am I dead? Am I dead?
No, you're not. Okay. Get it. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, there we go. Now I get to swing back, bitch. Now I get to swing back.
Try me.
Oh yeah.
Okay, like that.
Poseidon's got nothing on me.
Oh!
Oh shit.
Whoa!
Oh my fucking god.
Whoa!
Yeah, you just gotta dodge. Okay.
Oh, I fell on one.
Why be a man when
You could be a god.
Oh god, yeah, we get it, bro.
That's
Damn,
how
KSI over here. Shit. We got
Golly.
Kanye over here. We got it.
Damn, this shit hard.
Am I even live
Ooh,
on
trying to stay
TikTok?
alive. Ooh,
It says I'm alive.
Damn.
Trying to weave in damage.
Okay.
But what's good, Raven?
Here. Okay, there we go. There we go. There we go, bitch.
My universe is limitless.
Gravity's off!
Oh my god.
To our advantage!
Use it to our advantage. Oh, I thought we could shoot it.
Nah,
Okay.
just double jump.
She said
Bruh.
use it to our advantage. I'm like, can we shoot it? Was that a drill? Oh my god.
I don't know.
Strong.
Woo!
Got
There
him.
we go.
Oh, come on. Fucking Superman
Right,
ass.
Superman punched it. Come on now.
Why is the quality so bad?
Meow? Hey, Zoe! Down here!
I got it to one. I got it to a good quality.
Okay.
How did you get in there?
I don't know. I'm always in the shit end. Okay.
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 I'm on it.
How the fuck do I?
Stomp. Wait, go on top of the button and stop it. There you go.
Look at that.
Okay. Stomp on the green. Good. Good. Thank you. All right. Oh, God. Okay. Good. Okay. Stomp it again. Good. Good. Thank you.
Do you see an
Oh, I was supposed to die. Okay. I'm like, bruh.
Zoe? Leave it to me.
What am I supposed to stop? Oh, okay.
Oh, God. Okay.
Stay out of harm's way. Just keep
Okay.
going.
Oh. Oh. Keep stomping it. There we go.
What the
Okay,
heck?
good job.
Focus. Keeping it cool.
Keep stomping.
I'm stopping.
Okay.
They're on the side?
All right. Oh.
That's crazy.
Oh, God. Is there more?
They're on the side with it?
In this video, we'll be completing episode 5 of season 3 of the Walking Dead Telltale game series. We're in the final episode of the season. I can't wait to see what happens.
Should I play
and
Walking
what
Dead
is
again?
going to lead up for the final season. But if you don't know what's happening, I recommend to go check out the previous episodes so you understand what's happening. But if you already know, hope you enjoy this video, and if you do, drop a like. It would tell me to make more of this type of content, and don't forget to subscribe if you're new to the channel. But either
Yeah, I think I
let's
should
go
run more
back
Walking
to
Dead, bro.
The final episode of the Walking Dead season 3. Let's get right to it.
Yeah, I think I should run freaking Walking Dead, bro. I just bought the freaking what's it called? The new edition because it was on sale. Yeah, I should, bro. Yeah, I might play that.
The PS3 version of Sonic Unleashed has a reputation.
I'm definitely gonna play it if after I'm done with Forbidden West, bro. I'm definitely gonna play it. So I'm gonna just do a whole day of Forbidden West, and then we're gonna be playing that. We're gonna be playing freaking Walking Dead, bro. I already know how it goes, so I think I was watching a retrospect. So yeah, I know I'm exposing myself right now. Oh yeah, this is the freaking. They made a freaking Powerpuff Girl. They was making a Powerpuff Girl. What the heck? They were making a Powerpuff Girl thing. Damn, where's the retrospect? Oh, I think this is the retrospect. And it says I already watched it, but I didn't watch it, bro.
You've been all by yourself through this.
The retrospect. Actually, let's find out.
The Walking Dead Telltale series is a special video game experience that heavily impacted the gaming world.
Retrospect. I don't know. You probably finna make dumb decisions, just like Until Dawn streams. You talking about my Until Dawn stream, bro? I didn't make no bad decision, bro. I think I made the best decision. The only decision that I didn't understand was what's his name? Josh. So Josh just died because I didn't. I think I need to find a secret for Josh, and he just died, bro. And I could say the only dumb decision that I made throughout the whole game was Jessica. The Jessica situation. Yeah, the Jessica situation, bro. That was dumb. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, that's the only bad decision. The Jessica decision was the only bad decision that I made. But then I closed, I got closed out the game, and I came back, and she was alive. I don't know why I ran.
It's nice. It took a little getting used to, though.
And then, chat, guess what? It's about to be another anniversary of Walking Dead, the video game. Let's see. So yeah, we could definitely play it again. Walking Dead. Season. Oh. Tell. See, look. It was released on April 12th. I said April 12th. Wait, no, April 21st. I think that's what I said. Right? Yeah, April 24th. So it's about to be another year of Walking Dead, bruh. So that's why I definitely gotta play it. And I got the definitive. Then I got the new edition too.
The games weren't designed
Where it got all the seasons.
graphical style, so the
You got
older
every
games look a little
season.
off from time to time. But on the other side of the coin, it also helps hide a lot of the blemishes with far-off scenery since it's all grayscaled.
But yeah, I think I'm gonna make some dumb decision.
Cool features this edition has. We're here to talk about the games. So without further ado, here is Season 1.
Yeah, this is season. I already know everything about season 1.
I think the reason why Season 1 was such a success for Telltale was a lot of things. They found a gameplay formula that was simple to use. It wasn't clunky like their previous games. It has the layout of a point and click, but the player can freely move around and look around with the right stick or mouse with obvious circles to click on. For the time, it was a really simple system that did all it needed to do, so basically anyone could play it. I'm not saying Telltale's previous works like Back to the Future or Jurassic Park were these overcomplicated point-and-click kind of games, but when marketing a game, presentation helps a lot. So clean graphics and
Oh yeah, and I need to get and I also need to get what's it called? I also need to get Back to the Future, bro. That Back to the Future game, I definitely need to get that too.
a good feeling control scheme help a lot. Also, while the graphics can look pretty muddy in places, especially when compared to Season 2, which cleaned up a lot of the models, they were good for the time, which is largely thanks to the art direction. The stylization of a comic book obviously helps a lot when compared to Telltale's previous games, which tried this odd mixture of realism and dear god the engine cannot handle this. Another thing that helped was the IP. The Walking Dead by 2012 was a very popular comic book series with a popular show just finishing up its second
Yes,
season.
sir.
Anything with The Walking Dead on it was going to sell.
That kids love this one.
And this being the first real Walking Dead game, it had a lot going for it right off the bat. This is what probably drew most people in. Telltale wasn't the most mainstream studio at the time. They were ex-LucasArts devs, making games like Monkey
God
Island.
dang.
Telltale's most well-known series before before The Walking Dead was most likely their Sam and Max games. So when Telltale was finally able to nab some big IPs like Jurassic Park and Back to the Future, is when you started to see some.
And I need to finish freaking Sam and Max.
The marketing did its job by bringing in.
I need to finish Sam and Max too.
Characters like Herschel and Glenn, with popular YouTubers at the time loving it. A thing that I don't think a lot of companies realized back in 2012 was YouTube's effect it had on game sales. The only reason I even bought The Walking Dead for my 360 was because the YouTuber that I watched back then played the first episode. Finally, and most importantly, what had players coming back after episode 1 was the phenomenal story and characters it had. Were it not for this, Telltale would not have become as well known as they had by the end of 2012 and won Game of the Year from the VGAs.
Was that Kenny? I've been caught in a bear trap. Damn. Looks like I'm gonna have to chop that leg off, son. What? Are you crazy?
What?
No, I'm Sam Jackson.
This was Telltale at their best. We went full force into this project, and it shows all the love and dedication the team put into this game. You can really see Telltale evolve as a studio with each episode released, with each new episode coming with their own improvements to the animations and voice work.
Oh, you know what?
The story begins simply with our character, Lee Everett, in the back of a police car after murdering a senator that was sleeping with his wife.
Iceberg. We need to watch an Iceberg, man. I think we need to watch Iceberg.
I'm going to show you my Telltale games, The Walking Dead Iceberg.
Actually, I think I'm gonna watch it. You know, I'm so confused with what I want to freaking do. Let's finish this video first. You know what? One at a time.
He escapes after a car accident and is allowed to continue as a free man. After the car crash, he meets an orphan girl named Clementine, and she falls under his protection. On their way looking for help, they find a family consisting of Kenny, Katja, and Doug. Survivors with Larry, Lily, Carly, and Doug. Well, Doug doesn't really matter since most people just let him die anyways. The characters around Lee are what helped shape him to becoming an incredibly memorable character. Lee on his own is a smart man and is good at problem solving, but that doesn't help expand his character. A character needs more than just themselves to be great. They need to be able to bounce off of other characters to further their development. And Season 1 does a great job at this, as every character has a purpose to be there for Lee. I'm not saying that every character in Lee's group is super interesting, as Katja and Duck are definitely low on the tier list, but they're not bad characters. Carly, Katja, and Clem all help Lee keep his spirits high. Meanwhile, Larry, Lily, and Kenny push Lee into situations that cause him to make fast decisions and pick a side. He takes a lot of leadership roles, and the people in his group pay attention to him and listen to what he has to say.
Dang, I had 10 people liking, 10 people voting, bro.
Much like how The Last of Us is focused on Joel and Ellie's relationship.
Yeah, I'm definitely bringing out more polls.
Because he doesn't want to set a bad example for her. But at the same time, sometimes things need to be done, regardless of what's right or wrong. This makes the player have to find a good middle ground between survival and being a good father figure. The easy choice is to steal the food from the seemingly abandoned car, but with Clem standing right there, is it the right choice? Then again, Hoodie Clem is best Clem. Do you say manure, or do you say shit for the walls?
It smells funny in here. Like shit, right, Lee?
Clem is really something special because she's the first child character I can remember actually liking a lot. She's not annoying, pouty, or dumb. Instead, she's shy, smart, and for the most part, listens to Lee. The fanbase loves Clem. By episode 4, when she goes missing for a little while, I remember actually being worried for Clem because of how much I cared about her and Lee's relationship. By now, it felt like Lee thought of Clem as his own daughter. I actually suffered through Lee's double time animation just so I could find Clem just that little bit faster. It takes a lot of good writing to find a good medium for child characters. You don't want to write them as too mature because they're kids, but at the same time, they shouldn't be as smart or capable as adults, and they shouldn't be annoying as hell either. Duck is what I'm talking about. If Clem was Duck, oh dear God, she would have sucked. Episode 1 was a real success for Telltale. It was well received and people wanted to know what happened next, and they didn't disappoint. Telltale followed up with each episode being as good as the last. People died, walkers got shot, crazy things happened. The support group that Lee has all get violent and abrupt ends that cause the group to have more friction because there's no moral compass in the group anymore. And Clem ends up being the only one that
crazy.
Really trust. Having a relationship end in this game hurts. There was more for Lee and Carly, but unfortunately, she didn't know the script. The villains in the season are also phenomenal. The St. Johns are what make episode 2 so great. They're unnerving on repeated playthroughs because of how normal they act. A lot of what they say isn't obvious if it's the lie or the truth. Did most of their farmhands take off when the infected started showing up? Did the ones that really stay die from bandits and walkers? Was Ben's teacher caught by one of their bear traps? Was Mama really trying to f*** Larry? The St. Johns were so accustomed to their ways that they thought they could convince Lee's group to stay with them even though they were eating Mark's legs. It's a pretty messed up family. The Stranger is a great villain because he's not a villain, but instead just someone in Lee's way. The Stranger, from his point of view, is the good guy, and Lee's the bad guy. Lee's group caused his family to get killed and doesn't want to see another little girl die like his daughter. Minus the head in the bag thing, he's a sane person. You don't even have to kill him to save Clem. However, this is at the cost of your Q key. It's a little stiff now. Lee is a certified badass in this season. The man is a tank with all the damage he's able to dish out. A great shot and a willingness to do whatever it takes to complete his mission leads to spectacular spectacles that nothing in the other seasons were able to fully recapture. But we all know how this story ends. Lee and his group fix up the boat they find, get up the river, and ride off into the sunset. In episode 5, Too Much Time, is about our survivors going down the river for hours and hours, enjoying some food. At least that's how it ended in another universe. Instead, we got the shitty ending. Lee getting bit was the biggest surprise of the season. It was a slow death sentence for him, and with Clem being kidnapped by the Stranger, Lee was running out of time. If season 1 was Telltale their best, then episode 5 is the episode Telltale put most of their time into. It was simply a brilliant episode. No matter how many times I replay it, I keep hoping maybe it'll end differently. I haven't watched the ending in years, but damn.
That's crazy, bro. I miss it, bro. Especially season 2. I miss it, bro.
By the time the last episode for season 1 to come out, Telltale was already working on that sequel. In between that time, Telltale released a DLC titled 400 Days.
Oh yeah, 400 Days. Bro, they should do more 400 Days, bro. I feel like they have opportunity, bro. Skybound, make 400 Days a thing. Bro, they should definitely make that, bro.
The DLC was
they didn't bring back 400 Days.
Small stories being told that featured a lot of player choice considering all the stories were separate from each other. Nearing the end of October of 2013, Season 2 was announced and the hype train officially left the station. The fans wouldn't have to wait long, with the first episode being released on December 17th. The first episode of Season 2 is one of my favorite episodes in the series, outdoing some episodes in Season 1 even. It ties everything new and old together so well, and it's believable how Clem gets to where she is and leaves the rest of the season open with so much potential. Players are reunited with Omid and Krista, but only for a short time. Omid's shocking death in the intro was to help remind players that no one is safe. Krista doesn't stay around too long either afterwards. With her baby seemingly having died months ago, and bandits separating her and Clem, her fate was up in the air for the rest of the season. This episode is basically torture porn. Clem gets fucked up so much in this episode. She loses all of her friends, gets mauled by a dog, sews up her arm with...
Ew, come on, man.
Okay, who at Telltale is responsible for this? Who's got the fetish? She's stronger, smarter, and knows how to take care of herself from being just...
I don't know who got that fetish, bruh.
She's not this defenseless little girl anymore. She can really dish out some damage when she can. The production value is way above anything Season 1 ever had. Just look at this zombie. So many animations in Season 1 lack that build-up that makes it feel natural. There are some rough animations still in Season 2, but with the extra manpower that Telltale had, thanks to the success of Season 1, there is a lot less. Season 2 was also just dripping in style. There was a lot of love and effort put into this. You can tell that the team was really behind this project, with the little details they added that don't do much, but are just so nice. How every episode's credits has its own song, the colors of the fonts on the main menu go from yellow to blue over time, and the backgrounds too. It's
That's cool.
So tiny, but it's the small things like that that show that it wasn't just a by-the-number sequel, but something that Telltale really wanted to do. The trailers for episode 1 and 5 of the season are among some of the best trailers I've ever watched. As I said, the first episode of the season is still one of my favorite episodes in the Telltale series, because of how well it sets up everything for the future. With that said, this is the part where I tell you my problems with Season 2. Season 2 just felt rushed from a story perspective. It took 3 months for episode 2 to come out. Something was going on behind the scenes. The episode art is just confusing. Episode 3 had its art changed, as there used to be shadows on Clem's face, and I have no idea what's up with episode 4. Eddie from 400 Days was supposed to be in this cult-like thing, I guess, but that went nowhere. And this leads to episode 4 just kind of being about nothing.
Wait, for real? Wait, for real?
had its art changed, as there used to be shadows on Clem's face, and I have no idea what's up with episode 4. Eddie from 400 Days was supposed to be in this cult-like thing, I guess, but that went nowhere. And this leads to episode 4 just kind of being about nothing. It's literal filler of the worst kind. The characters that Clem meet don't work past the first episode. Luke is the best one because he's the person that Clem hangs out the most, but everyone else just doesn't have much of a point. I said that the reason
that was episode 4. Yo, episode 4 and 5 does be feeling dragged out.
Bounce off each other so well. Here, other than Luke, no one does anything of Clem.
For sure.
This is a literal blank slate. I know nothing about him other than that he's a doctor and loves his daughter Sarah. Okay, what else? Does he hope things will get better one day? What's his past like? Where's Sarah's mother? Why is he the leader? Clem never talks.
He's the most forget about character.
Also, what the hell is Rebecca's character even supposed to be? She does a complete
annoying
in episode 2. In episode 1, she's seemingly the new Larry, but in episode 2, she's Clem's new bestie. I get the feeling that Telltale realized that they wanted people to like Rebecca because they needed players to care about AJ, the baby, and this would become very important in the future. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a bunch of rewrites to make her a likable character. Alvin, I like him because he's nice. Nick, where do I begin with this dude? This character is pointless. He serves nothing to the story other than to shoot a guy on a bridge and cause some tension and to look like Kenny in the episode 1 trailer, which actually aged like wine. He does nothing in episode 3 because he can die in episode 2, and obviously Telltale didn't know either because he just kinda dies in episode 4, and no one really cares. Pete is a character that had so much wasted potential. Telltale blew their load way too fast with killing him off because the game was really hurting for good characters at this point. Sarah is also wasted potential. There's a setup in episode 1 and beginning of episode 2 that her and Clem's relationship will be something later on down the road. She's basically Clem if Clem never learned how to defend herself. They pick up this little story thread of these two being friends every now and again, but by episode 4, Telltale themselves didn't really care and they just kinda killed her off. Then there's the main villain of the season, who's only around for 2 episodes. Carver is in charge of a large group operating an abandoned hardware store. Clem's group is trying to escape of these two being
The
friends.
funny part is she could, bro, that could have been avoided, bro. That could have been avoided.
And things can happen. There's not really a goal. Carver really should have been around for at least one more episode just to drive the plot some more. You want to know the weird part about the characters in this game? The characters that Clem find her adventure after episode 1 are actually pretty good. For some reason, Telltale put a lot of effort into making us care more about these new characters than the ones that we met in episode 1. And when Kenny is reintroduced, the new characters don't stand a chance. He steals any scene that he's in. Even Luke is basically replaced by Jane by the end of episode 4. This makes me wonder what the whole point of Clem's group is. Is it just so that she's in a group and things can happen? Is that the only reason? I think that's the only reason. A lot of this could have been fixed if season 2 just took a second to breathe and slow down. Clem is always on the move. In season 1, episode 1 and 2 were slow so they could let us meet and learn about our characters like Carly, Kenny, and Katja, and everyone else. Then by the time episode 3 came around, the game can move at a much faster pace because we're already invested in this cast, and their deaths hit a lot harder. Also, Clem just doing everything makes the adults look like morons. She crosses an unknown bridge of loot.
Yo, Clem does everything, bruh.
Dangerous missions.
Clem does everything.
And argue some more. By episode 4, though, the initial group is pretty much all gone and replaced by better characters. Jane is someone that we only really get to know in episode 4, and she replaces Luke for being Clem's main best friend. It's odd to me because a lot of the tension felt between Kenny and Luke instead gets thrusted onto her. Luke and Kenny have been butting heads since first meeting episode 2. And with how the ending of this game goes, I think it would have been a lot more effective to make a choose between Kenny, someone that we've known for 2 seasons at this point, or Luke, a very likable guy who saved Clem's life multiple times since the first episode of the season. Instead, Jane gets that spotlight. For me, it's no contest who I'm going to say between Kenny and Jane.
Thank you for the like.
And Luke, man, that would have been a tough one. Looking at the initial group through the bigger picture, yeah, they were really there just to die, as they're all replaced by other characters halfway through the game, and the ending relying on Kenny as the emotional moment was a bad idea. It requires that the player actually likes Kenny to begin with, and I'd imagine by looking at the stats of who killed Larry, I'd say quite a few players aren't too emotionally invested in Kenny. I personally love Kenny. I think he's a great flawed character, like there are literally religions surrounding this guy. But at the same time, it's very cool
hey yo,
people who really just don't like Kenny.
Hey yo.
If you're a fan of multiple endings, then this game has you covered. There are so many that you think this would be the end of Clem's story, and if not, then Telltale would obviously have to adapt a theoretical Season 3 to heavily be impacted by Season 2's ending, right?
I think New Frontier is probably the most hated.
Now we approach the black sheep of the series, a new frontier.
Yep, look. Look what he said, bruh. Black sheep of the series, bruh. He literally says black sheep of the series, bruh.
Miniseries before this, but it doesn't have any impact on anything, so I'm just gonna ignore it. All you need to know, though, is that it's good, and there's this big titty bitch. A new frontier has no reason to exist, plain and simple.
But he said what?
No impact on All you need to know, though, is that it's good, and there's this big titty bitch. A new frontier has no reason to exist, plain and simple. This season has no impact on Season 4 at all. Which is quite insane when you watch the ending of Season 3, and Mike Clem says that she wouldn't mind staying around because she's yucking it up with Gabe. This is such a side story. It has a whole new cast of characters and a protagonist that has nothing to do with the first 2 games. Which is weird because when you watch the reveal trailer, it gave more the impression that Clem and this new guy will be playable together and that they have known each other for quite a while now. This is sorta true, but Clem is only playable in her short flashbacks. This came up a year after Tales from the Borderlands had wrapped up, and that had used the 2 character setup very successfully. Instead, we play as the new character, mostly Javier, and it's about him trying to rescue his family. Clem here feels like she's here more for contractual obligations than a story reason. The season also launched with the first 2 episodes, which sounds great until you realize that it's just one episode broken in half and presented as another episode entirely. The total length of these 2 is about 2.5 hours,
what?
Which is pretty average length.
Wait, seriously?
This new guy will be playable together and that they have known each other for quite a while now. This is sorta true, but Clem is only playable in her short flashbacks. This came up a year after Tales from the Borderlands had wrapped up, and that had used the 2 character setup very successfully. Instead, we play as the new character, mostly Javier, and it's about him trying to rescue his family. Clem here feels like she's here more for contractual obligations than a story reason. The season also launched with the first 2 episodes, which sounds great until you realize that it's just one episode broken in half and presented as another episode entirely. The total length of these 2 is
one
about
episode
2.5
broken in
hours,
half.
which is pretty average length for an episode of the series. What I'm about to say is going to be the most controversial thing in this whole video. Yes, more so than me saying I wasn't the biggest fan of Season 2. But after what I've said about this season, I actually like Season 3. In some ways more than the second season, it just feels like a more steady experience rather than Season 2's wild fluctuation of quality. There is just such a good feeling as playing as someone who is an absolute machine again. Javi freaking plows through the undead and people in this game that we haven't seen since Season 1. Just being able to f some shit up is so rewarding after playing as an 11-year-old girl for an entire season who had to find creative ways to beat things that could suplex her without breaking a sweat. And I don't feel bad about throwing out F-bombs as Javi and being a sly dog. Or if I made Clem swear, it made me feel like I was being a bad influence. I do like the arc that Javi has in this game. He starts out as somebody who was never there for his family because he was a famous baseball player and was always gone. But during the apocalypse, all he has is family, and he's determined to save them. And basically the father for the kids that he's taking care of. Which is kind of weird considering that they're his brother's kids, and Javi is also fucking his brother's wife. More
oh my.
The intro to this game is freaking sweet. It's so cool seeing the beginning of the apocalypse again, but without it coming out of nowhere like in Season 1. It's so creepy seeing Javi's dad reanimate into a zombie. I think this is a nice little side story for Clem when it's not about her side of the story, but we'll get on to that later. It doesn't really have much to do about her story overall, and if you skip the season to Season 4, nothing would really be missed. But that's not an inherent fault for the season, because Telltale went out of their way in Season 4 to avoid all spoilers to A New Frontier, so I can't blame this season for that. The biggest problem with Season 2 was that there were too many redundant characters. Season 3 fixes this by keeping the group size fairly small the entire time. It's not the most amazing group. There's a Kenny wannabe Trip, but he's no Kenny. Overall, I'd say the characters are average to above average. This game does do one person really well though. Mariana is a really good character, and Telltale did a really good job with her since she gets headshot. It's a pretty effective death that makes Javi hate the New Frontier and is trying to get justice for her for the rest of the season. Other than Clem, of course, the second best character that you interact with is probably Kate. She's just trying to keep her family alive and isn't interested in all the wars and politics that happen. And she was married to Javi's brother David, who he found after years alone on the road together. He's in charge of Richmond, which is where most of the game takes place. Other than a civil war going on, it's really not a bad place. Depending on what Javi does, he can end up cooking his brother. Not saying David doesn't deserve it though. I feel like David is there just for when Telltale needs action. Things will be going well, and then David goes full Rambo and destroys any resemblance of peace and order I'd managed to muster up. Gabe serves the same purpose too. He's David's son, and Gabe's just a little shit. Gabe's there to stir the pot. Much like how his father is there to cause violence, Gabe's there to cause conflict. Things will be going well, and then Gabe says something profoundly stupid, and now Trip, doesn't want to talk to me about his girl issues anymore. I also like how A New Frontier references stuff from the comics again. Season 2 wanted to be its own thing, so it strayed away from references. The references here come from Jesus, who is also from the comics. Jesus is also voiced by...
I'm Garrus Vicarian, and this is my rectum.
He's also pretty cool.
Hey!
One thing that is inexcusable about A New Frontier, though, is how it handles translating the events at the end of Season 2 into this game. It was a colossal failure of incredible proportions. If you decide to hang out with Kenny, he gets flung out a window. If you stay with Jane, she hangs herself, which I think is kind of funny. Jane and Kenny didn't transfer to the new art style well either. I don't know what the hell happened with Kenny. Jane looks better, but way worse than she did in Season 2. Also, Clem's Season 3 model in her Season 2 jacket looks really bad. I have a feeling that Telltale made these transition scenes fairly late into development because of how rushed and bad these look. This really makes me wish that Clem wasn't in the season at all. Clem's position as a character should have been filled by some random stranger that we don't know. Since we already know Clem, this causes fairly ridiculous leaps in logic for Javi. There's a reason 89.4% of people killed Conrad. I think Conrad is actually a cool character. He could survive the whole thing, but he has a chance to die in each episode. I wish Telltale did this more of characters, but they wasted it on Conrad. If you don't shoot him, then it makes it impossible to get the good ending at the end. Sorry, Conrad. Getting to the problem that I have with Clem's story is that it just doesn't work. I can say that without a doubt that I don't care about AJ. I get that Clem does, because at this point, he spent 2 years with his baby and has come to love it. But why wasn't the baby Kristen O'Mead's to start out with? Going back to the characters replacing other characters in Season 2, AJ completely replaced Kristen O'Mead's baby. It serves the same purpose, and I think that Season 2 could have used a child for Clem to take care of, like how Lee took care of her. Not only would I have cared more about the baby in Season 3, since I spent a whole season prior taking care of it, but I'd also have some emotional investment wanting to take care of Kristen O'Mead's baby in their honor. By the way, what happened to Krista? Oh well, we still have another season to figure that out. Another problem that this game has is that there are just too many endings, I think. The story feels like it's trying to be about Javi and David's relationship, but the player doesn't need to see what feels like a natural ending to the story with David's death. In the ending where Javi chases David, who's taking Gabe with him, David gets bitten and has a final farewell of Javi. It feels like this was the ending that Telltale wanted the players to see, as it's the most put together one. David can also be saved if Clem and Javi go after the two. Then there's the route where you go with Kate, and Clem goes after David. It's required to go this way to save Kate, and it's the good ending, I guess, since Kate and Gabe both survive. But David's just dead by the time Javi gets there, and there's no goodbye. It sucks that we need to ignore the story in order to get the best ending. Also, there isn't one original piece of music in this game, and if there is, it sounds so generic I couldn't tell. Overall, I do think Season 3 is a good time. It puts the player in control of a certified badass, its characters are more enjoyable on average than Season 2, and it fucks up Season 2's ending even more by making its endings meaningless. Okay, I'm beginning to understand why people hate this game. But this wasn't the end. And ironically enough, the final season of the series that shot Telltale to mainstream popularity will be their final game.
Yeah, final season was the best, bruh. Final season was so good.
As I said in the beginning of the video, this is my first time playing the final season. I think that while I did like A New Frontier, I was starting to get burnt out by Telltale, that by the time Season 4 was released, I didn't have much of an urge to play it. And somehow, I managed to avoid spoilers for the next 2 years, so I have no idea what happens in this game. Season 4 is teased at the end of Season 3, which stated that it would be the final chapter in Clem's story. But it wasn't actually shown off until E3 2018. It's been 3 years since Season 3, and we have a much more mature AJ and an older Clem. Seeing for promotional material for the game, the final season is really trying to bring everything full circle by drawing parallels to Lee and Clem's relationship in the first season. This game finally had Telltale moving away from the point-and-click formula. The game is now technically a third-person game. It's nice, but this being Telltale's first non-point-and-click game, it has some rough edges. For example, the mouse sensitivity is pretty low even on the highest settings, and Clem's animations moving through the world isn't the most polished thing. This also allows the combat to be more controllable than before. The combat is only against walkers, but something's better than nothing. Each combat encounter is a puzzle with the player needing to figure out what order they need to take the walkers out in. If Clem goes in for the kill to a zombie too close to another one, she'll be exposed and killed by the other one. Being able to stun a zombie and then go for the kill on the other one is simple, but it's the best puzzle The Walking Dead has had in ages. This is also the first season not to have 5 episodes, and while at first that may sound like Telltale's trying to rush the game, that's not the case. Season 3 was definitely rushed because of how the first 2 episodes were basically one. But here, these episodes in Season 4 are long. Like Episode 2 is almost 3 hours kind of long. Clem can collect collectibles and decorate her room, talk to characters around her, and examine things. Season 1 had 2-hour episodes on average because of all the things Lee could do in the area where you could roam around in. This helped build up the characters because they usually had a few things to say to him. Season 2 and 3 don't have these moments and cause their episodes to be an hour and a half long. These seasons are so focused on always moving, like I said, that they don't take the time to slow things down and learn about the characters. The characters Clem has here are actually pretty good. You've got the ones that are less developed than others, but even the least developed character has a decent amount of personality to them. This whole season involves this Peter Pan-esque place that Clem discovers when their leader Marlin finds Clem after she crashes her car. I'll be real, when I imagined the final season for The Walking Dead, I did not have anything like this in mind. But it's actually perfect for Clem. Season 2 made the adults look like morons for relying on a little girl so much. But here, since they're all kids around the same age, it's a lot more believable when Clem takes a leadership role. You can tell a lot by the characters just by looking at them. Lewis has a very thespian kind of personality, as he's over the top about a lot of things, and he's oddly soft for surviving the zombie apocalypse for so long. Ten is a shy kid who's very artistic, and by the way he talks about life and death would be perfect for Tumblr. Violet is a walking hot topic ad. Willie fucking smells. One thing that didn't really bother me, but I thought was kind of funny, but why are the two lesbian chicks in the season just so stereotypically lesbian looking? There is one character I have a few problems with though. I want you to take a guess at how old AJ is real quick. Go ahead. He's 5. What they're trying to do with him is way too young. I think 8 would have been a good age since it also reflects off of Clem well since she started the whole thing at 8 too. And Clem would also have become an adult by then. AJ is just way too hard and able to form sentences way too well for a 5-year-old. It's kind of ridiculous. Think about a 5-year-old for a second. Think of all the words that they can form. Can you understand half of them?
Have you ever had a dream that you could do so you do
Oh my. Why you gotta expose him like this?
so much you could do anything?
I may be harder with Telltale with their kid characters than I should be, but for God's sakes, they made Clem, who was the best child character in gaming. She wasn't too smart and she wasn't too dumb in season 1. She was the perfect mix of mature and kid-like to make a believable little girl character. Maybe they kept AJ at 5.
AJ is too trigger happy.
Clem under 18 so that she's still a kid. Can't imagine why. I would have loved to see adult Clem though. Another thing about AJ is that this is the season where Telltale tried to make him an actual character that the player cares about. Since AJ wasn't really that important of a character other than being the baby, he does suffer from Telltale's mishandling of him in the past seasons. I like AJ, but not as much as Telltale wants me to like AJ. They want him to be Clem 2.0, but he feels more like an alpha version of Clem. I didn't feel like I need to be protective of AJ. And when AJ causes more problems than he's good for, he feels more like a nuisance at times. We also get the return of another old character. Lily is the main antagonist, and Papa Kenny's smiling down upon me for smashing Larry's brain in. Lily can be seen as an extension of who she became in season 1. She's not above murdering people, nor using children as slaves. Okay, that last one kind of came out of nowhere. She does have a soft spot for Clem though. She can see how strong Clem is, and tries to recruit her as a child soldier for the war her group is in. We're never told who the war is with, but one can guess it's with Richmond since Clem never went back there. That brings me to another point. Why Clem doesn't go to Richmond is pretty contrived. My Clem at the end of season 3 had a crush on Gabe, and talked about coming back after she got AJ. When she reaches the place that's holding AJ, there's already a battle going on there. Don't know why, but again, one can assume that this is the war that Lily's a part of since by the time Clem reunites with her, she's already been taking kids for a while by now. This feels like Telltale's seen the reception of season 3 and deciding to ignore the whole season. Telltale's just awful continuing seasons, to be honest. There's also romance in this game, but it's really weird how it works. Romance in previous games is pretty much just Lee and Carly, and Javi and Kate, and Jesus, if you swing that way. But here, Clem is Commander Shepard, just having a whole free buffet all to herself.
Miranda, hold this con.
What the heck?
I don't know what you're thinking.
Liara, bend over. I have to trust her, this doesn't work.
The way that romance is initiated is not obvious at all. There's only one time Clem can form a relationship with anyone, and if that moment passes, she loses her chance. There's a single moment in episode 2 when Clem can either go Violet or Lewis. Violet says that she needs help on the tower to help keep a lookout for Lily's group trying to break into their place, but Lewis is just trying to f*** around. I decided to go with Violet because it sounded like I'd be more helpful up there. This isn't staged at all as a romantic choice. All that happened was Violet hitting on Clem and me friend-zoning her. There really should have been a second opportunity for Clem to get in with somebody other than this one awkward spot. Getting onto the spooks, this game has spooks. This is the first season that attempts horror. Near the end of the first episode, Marlon accidentally kills the chick Brody with just one solid slam of the head with a flashlight. Nice job, man. Clem turns around for a little while, and Brody is apparently the fastest turning and quietest walker ever, because she's just gone by the time Clem turns around. You can hear her groaning, and it's genuinely creepy. Later on, this other girl named Minerva is hunting down Clem and the gang, and she had previously gotten really messed up by a walker attack, and comes in singing with an axe over her shoulder. Okay, good job, Telltale. Us Lee fans also get a short cameo from the legend himself. It shows that Clem still hasn't forgotten about him and still uses him to help her get by. Telltale really didn't have to do this, but showing him off with a glorious HD model was just for the fans. I'd really love to see seasons 1 and 2 get remakes someday with the look that the final season has, because this is just gorgeous. The game does a really good job at looking like a comic, more so than the cartoony look of the earlier seasons. Based on how previous seasons have been incorporating more endings into each new entry, you'd think that Telltale would go all in with the endings, much like Season 2 did. But surprisingly, there's only one ending. Now, there is a small change depending on who Clem saved and romance, but other than that, there's only one concrete ending. Clem loses her leg and I guess lives out the rest of her life at the school. I do wish that we could have saved Clem's leg in some way. Ending of Clem becoming a cripple is kind of a downer, and not being able to potentially save that leg would have been a welcome choice. I mean, I fucked up by Clem by getting every guy I try to get her with killed. After Clem gets bit and her and Asia are in the barn together, coming full circle of what Clem had to do to Lee, you think this would be a very emotional scene, and I mean it is, but the scene just kind of feels rushed. Telltale knew that Clem wasn't going to actually die, so it's not like they really needed to get it right, but I feel like they should have pulled more heartstrings more than they actually did. People have been talking about rioting for years if Clem ever died, so I expected to see more. In the end though, I think it's a good conclusion to the series. There's no perfect way to end a story like this. With the way the world is, Clem will continue to have struggles even after the happy ending that we got. The only true way to see Clem's story end would be to have her die, but that's definitely not what I want to see.
Thank you so much for playing my game.
I do have to give Telltale credit though for ending the series at Season 4 though. They easily could have dragged this out for years to come. Instead, they wanted to finish Clem's story, and while there may have been more spin-off games that followed in A New Frontier's footsteps, minus Clem, unfortunately, we'll never know because Telltale closed their doors 4 days prior to Episode 2 launching. Were it not for Skybound Games, I'm not sure if the last 2 episodes would have ever been completed, but all loose ends were tied up and wait, oh my god, what the hell happened to Krista? This chick has disappeared from the face of the earth as far as Telltale is concerned. Season 2 makes such a point of Clem trying to find Krista whenever she goes to a new place. Like, did Telltale actually forget about Krista? This is such a major plot hole. Oh my god. This was the Telltale Walking Dead series, and despite my problems with the series and story bits, I do very much love these games. The writing and story at its worst is usually at least decent. These games kept the players on their toes because of how expendable.
What did happen to Krista?
Clementine is one of the best written characters. Doesn't let those bad things define who he is. While playing as Clem, I always played in a way like Clem was still being guided by Lee himself because I always wanted to keep her safe. While Telltale was never able to recapture the magic of Season 1, they obviously cared and tried to give the fans a good story to play through. This was the series.
What happened? I guess he must have muted it. He finished. Oh, he did finish it.
Or being good.
I'm excited.
No. Okay. Yeah.
It was like, okay.
Just security, not even police.
Ouch.
Does he know that he's killing it? Wow.
What? How did he just
I got
kill us
hit
just
by
now?
debris. I got hit by debris.
Oh, I'm like, how the fuck you just kill us just now?
Okay. Shooting. Oh, bitch. Let's go.
Oh yeah. 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 We can do this all day, buddy. We're gamers.
Yeah, bitch.
Woo! Yes, sir.
Let's go. Yeah,
And
get
he hit the
out.
machine. Oh yeah, he knocked out. Yeah, he about to die too. I thought that joint was about to slam on him.
I know.
Now I'm ready for my lawsuit.
Right, I'm gonna sue y'all for $1 billion.
Not only did he put his hand
I'm gonna sue
on
y'all
me.
for $1 billion. We get 500 mil each. Let's go.
He put his hands on me and started the whole thing. Then
Right, he
our
pushed
ideas.
me in. Then you're stealing people's ideas.
My machine.
Yes, it's broken.
My life's work.
Too bad.
You ruined everything.
Not
you
really.
pushed me. Right.
Save it for biography. Hey.
And we're writing a book, bitch, because we're writers.
Man, they just security, not even police.
He got handcuffs right there. Cuff him.
They gotta call somebody to really arrest him.
Yeah. We're detaining you.
Right.
Well, this will be a day to remember. Why? What do you mean? Hey, you know what? We should write a book about all of this.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, maybe we should.
Ain't the police gonna stop him though?
Police gonna stop him? I think so.
Stop them.
Stop who?
Them, because they're witnesses. They were
guess
literally
not.
in the situation.
They walking casually, so I guess.
I guess not.
They're like, oh, they wasn't in it. They too calm.
They too calm. They released all their trauma through the game, so I mean.
I know. Oh, her dad died.
Oh, wow. Oh, that sucks, bro.
Where chat at, bro?
Never was comfortable in these types of clothes. They're so impractical. It's a release party, not a heist. Look what I picked up.
Oh, they made their book called Split Fiction.
Look, Dad. I got published. How are you? I'm good.
They made their book off the game.
I'm proud of you. I'm telling you, our book is brilliant. We are brilliant. Shall we? The main guests can't be late to their own release party. Wish us luck.
I'm gonna play this game, bro. When I get the money.
Still, though, I can't believe we named it Split Fiction. But wasn't that your suggestion? As a working title, not the official title. It's actually growing on me. Split Fiction. It sounds cool. I guess. So, how do you think our book will be received?
Well.
Very well.
Very well.
All right or great?
You say, are they girlfriends or are they girlfriends? I think they're girlfriends, not girlfriends.
There we go.
So. See, bestie, already friend zone.
I do. And little kids. Oh, I can live with that. I'm not surprised. You know, you can say it too. No, you want to. Stop it. Just.
Yeah, they walking like they dragging a wagon. Like they walking like it's hard to walk straight because they dragging a wagon. They over there.
Be quiet, Jazz. Talk about some they dragging a wagon. They just being good.
They walking like they dragging a wagon. Huh?
It might be. Hey, hold on now. It might be. We don't know. You got to see them pixels. Let me stop. It's underneath them pixels, baby. All right, skip this.
Okay, that was copyright right there. The heck?
Sorry. No pillows in here? No pillows in here. Where am I
Bro,
gonna
what
lay
is
my
with
head?
this damn copyright?
Produce solid titles, the stories weren't emotionally resonating as well with players. Telltale wasn't ignoring its signature franchise though, as in 2015, the studio announced The Walking Dead Michonne, a miniseries which would center around the titular character from the comics and TV show. Originally, the miniseries was planned to be an add-on for Season 2, but it was later changed to be a standalone title and released in early 2016. Michonne stands out from the rest of the Walking Dead games by not continuing Clementine's story or featuring any characters from Season 1, 400 Days, or Season 2. Instead, the series focuses on Michonne after she left Rick Grimes' group in issue 126 of the comics and before her return in issue 139. As a self-contained narrative with no other relation to the games, Michonne is often ignored by fans of the series, but to continue the retrospective proper, we must give it its fair due. The Michonne series begins on a small boat, where Michonne picks up a distress signal that sends her and Pete, the captain, to an abandoned ship. There, after encountering Samantha and Greg, two hostile survivors, she's captured and sent to the community of Monroe.
I mean, what should I even
finds
play?
herself needing to escape from Monroe's leaders, Norma and Randall, while also helping Samantha get back to her family. The Michonne series ties the most into previous Walking Dead stories, as in addition to starring one of the franchise's most popular characters, it also features two other comics characters, Pete and Sadiq, and explicitly references Rick Grimes' group at the end. With Michonne as the protagonist, Telltale had a well-established foundation to go off of, which works mostly to their disadvantage. While it gave the writers a starting point to build the story around, the onus was on Telltale to deliver an original story that did the character justice. With Telltale's games putting a high emphasis on player choice, the challenge was coming up with numerous dialogue choices that would all sound in character for Michonne. She already had plenty of character growth by this point in both the comics and TV show, and Telltale needed to stay true to all of it.
BO6?
As a
I don't know about
consequence,
that.
the dialogue choices don't feel as well defined here as they did previously, as if Telltale was trying to appeal to a few separate playstyles
Maybe I'll play
that
it, I don't know.
roughly fit the bill for Michonne.
But I have to go back on
The
my
designers
PlayStation. I
did
don't
the
feel like
best
going back
they
on
could
there.
to write a story and characters around that hurdle, but the potential of Michonne as a character seems wasted by Telltale's apparent aversion to upsetting fans. That's not to say that the Michonne series is devoid of enjoyable content, because while it is the most non-essential Telltale Walking Dead game, it does have its moments and they should be appreciated. The city of Monroe is perhaps the most interesting setting in the series from a visual standpoint, consisting of a bunch of boats floating in water, a nice change of pace from the usual land-based cities and communities. The series also ends with a prolonged encounter with Monroe's leaders where Michonne has to defend Sam and her family as well as Pete's crew,
Hey, yo.
which is an intense battle on a scale not yet seen in the games. And even if Michonne isn't as strongly written as one might expect, the game does explore her backstory fairly well, showing her suffering through the memory of losing her daughters at the beginning of the apocalypse. This had already been examined in the comics and TV show, but Telltale needed to re-establish it for players who weren't familiar with it, and they do a good job retelling the trauma Michonne is facing. The game gets pretty cinematic in showing how its lead character is dealing with her loss, exploring Michonne's mental psyche in a way that hadn't yet been done in the video games. It's a good way to inform the player of what Michonne went through and how it turned her into the person she is today. As I said, the games typically aren't concerned with exploring the past of its characters in depth, so a character's backstory is relegated to conversations happening in the present. However, the Michonne series introduces pre-apocalypse flashbacks that show us the inner turmoil of Michonne coming to grips with her past and finding the strength to become a better person despite her mistakes. The game takes a brief look at these concepts, but in the end, it just doesn't flesh them out enough. The game is the shortest in the franchise, not just since it only has 3 episodes, but also because each episode barely reaches over an hour with credits included. That length could be a result of the game's initial status as an add-on to Season 2, but it means that the game only has so much time to dedicate to Michonne's past. Most of the time is spent advancing the plot rather than establishing her character, which again makes sense considering Telltale didn't want to potentially go against what had already been established. But it does weaken the overall experience and led to many fans eagerly wanting a new full season, and they wouldn't have to wait very long. As Telltale was releasing episodes of Michonne, they were also in the midst of developing both their Batman series and Season 3 of The Walking Dead, which would continue Clementine's story. The developers knew that they wanted her to return along with AJ and show Clementine not only taking care of herself, but also keeping AJ alive and raising him in the Walker apocalypse. However, the company had a problem. How could they keep Clementine's story going considering how Season 2 ended? Unlike Season 1, which essentially only had one ending, Season 2 allowed for 3 different paths that would lead to 5 different endings depending on the player's final choices. Thus, the writers had to come up with a scenario that would accommodate all these endings, which is not an easy task to pull off, and as you probably already know, the end result wasn't exactly successful. Telltale desired to take on a different approach for the game's narrative by transitioning away from a story solely focused on Clementine. While Clementine is playable intermittently, the designers decided to create an entirely new character to act as the main protagonist. This way, Telltale could place a new dynamic at the heart of Season 3's narrative, as well as potentially attract new players who hadn't played Seasons 1 and 2. This was critical to Telltale since this was the first Walking Dead game not to be released on 7th generation consoles, which means that they would lose a portion of their audience. To partially remedy this, Telltale switched to a cloud-based save data storage system to track a player's choices. This allowed a player to continue from where they left off in Season 2 regardless of what system they originally played on, meaning that players moving to a new console wouldn't get left behind. Telltale released the first 2 episodes of Season 3, now subtitled A New Frontier, in December 2016. The company tried to take the series in a new direction while also staying true to what made the first 2 seasons so beloved, but for many, the end result was not a pretty picture. A New Frontier takes place 4 years after the Walker invasion begins and centers around Javier "Javi" Garcia, a former baseball player trying to protect his family, including his brother David, David's wife Kate, and their 2 children Gabe and Mariana. Though David was separated from the group in the initial outbreak, the family has stuck together these long years, but one night while scavenging, they're confronted by survivors from a group known as the New Frontier. While running from the New Frontier, Javi meets an older, tougher Clementine, who's looking for AJ after the 2 were separated. Now Javi, along with Clementine and some residents of the community of Prescott, need to survive the wrath of the New Frontier as well as try to keep his family together. A New Frontier story distances itself from the previous games by centering around a main cast that has no relation to Clementine and her people before the season begins. The bonds between Javi, Kate, David, Gabe, and Mariana are the biggest focal point of the season, and perhaps its strongest element. The writers had a tough challenge creating a protagonist that could match Lee and Clementine, but they met that challenge with Javi, who is a likable character and a good fit for the Walking Dead universe. Like Lee, Javi has a dark past, as he was kicked out of professional baseball for gambling, though Javi's past does come to haunt him in slight ways. Javi was famous before the Walkers, and some people recognize him from those days, but in the apocalypse, it doesn't matter that he was once a well-known figure, that he had a status above what most people had. Now Javi is just another survivor trying to protect the people closest to him, which speaks again to the point that in The Walking Dead, it doesn't matter who you were, what matters is who you are. Javi has been traveling with his sister-in-law, niece, and nephew for 4 years, and has become a surrogate father to David's kids, as well as a potential love interest for Kate. They all assume that David is dead after splitting up with him during the outbreak, so they've been protected by Javi and look to him for leadership and view him as a father figure and partner. But when Javi reunites with David, his relationship with his family is put into jeopardy as he now has to balance the people he's traveled with for years in the apocalypse and his brother who's been a part of his life forever. David wants to take up the position as leader of the family, but Javi's proven himself to be a better father than he ever could be, which causes the bond between the brothers to weaken. The Walking Dead has introduced families before, but the Garcias are placed right at the center of the story, which gives the players incentive to keep the family alive and working together. Javi's relationship with his family has blossomed for decades, and it's already had plenty of highs and lows before the game even begins. Characters would often get upset with Lee and Clementine for their actions during the apocalypse, but Javi has some long-standing baggage with David and Kate, which makes it difficult for them to stick together. How well Javi's connection with his family holds is up to the player, but A New Frontier delivers a powerful, impactful message on keeping your family together, even when it gets pushed to the breaking point.
I know you think you're strong enough to handle that alone, and so does your brother, and you're both wrong. You have to take care of each other.
You two are all I'll leave behind, like Gabe and Mariana will be for David. Legacy, Javier. It's all anyone leaves behind. That and their bones. Be brothers before it's too late.
The other major relationship Javi forms in the game is with Clementine, who underwent yet another transformation now that she's a little older. Clementine is only playable during flashback sequences that occur in each episode, showing us what happened to Clementine after Season 2, what happened to AJ, and what changed her into the person she now is. Regardless of how you played Clementine in Season 2, she's become a grizzled, no-nonsense character in A New Frontier. When you first meet her, she appears to have lost touch with her cheery side and turned into a hardened survivor who takes crap from nobody. This transformation in Clementine's personality was inevitable considering everything she went through in Seasons 1 and 2. Clementine has pushed aside her emotions and acts like she doesn't care about anybody because she's tired of losing people that she was close to. While she might see it as maturity, she still has a lot to learn about what it means to become an adult, even if she's become proficient at survival. It's only when she meets Javi and the two form a bond that she learns how to be open around people while accepting that the death of those you care about is an unfortunate reality. This is a natural character arc for a character like Clementine, but it isn't something that every player necessarily enjoyed. Even though players loved watching the younger Clementine experience the Walker apocalypse, for one reason or another, seeing who she turned into rubs some people the wrong way. But regardless of how players responded to it, it is an important part of Clementine's life as it's evolved over the series. By the time the game begins, she's all on her own, and losing AJ to the New Frontier makes her feel like she can't trust or get close to anyone. Not to mention that Clementine is now a teenager, and she's going through the changes that everybody experiences when they reach adolescence, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. It's the perfect cascade of events that leads to her new personality, even if it's just a front to deflect the pain of losing everything important to her. Perhaps the reason why many players didn't respond well to her arc in A New Frontier is because she wasn't the main character. Clementine's role as a side character meant that people couldn't form as strong a connection with her as before, since she spends a sizable amount of time off-screen while the players are left with Javi. The game takes an outside perspective on Clementine, showing her new personality through the eyes of Javi and the rest of the characters. It's an interesting angle, but it also isn't fully formed, as she's pushed into the spotlight too often and too haphazardly to make it work. It makes Clementine's flashbacks seem disruptive to the story instead of complementary, as while they reveal more insights into her transformation, they often don't have the proper impact. It feels as if Telltale was worried about taking focus away from her for too long for fear that players would get upset at the lack of her presence. Not that they didn't have other things to be upset about, because if there's one thing that's proved controversial in A New Frontier, it's how the game treats Season 2. Telltale had to wrap up multiple endings in a way that allowed the story to continue while accommodating for everything players chose previously. But players who stuck with Kenny and Jane felt betrayed by how Telltale treated these characters in A New Frontier, as they're both shown to have died in ways that many felt were undeserving. Now, this happened in Season 2 with Omid, and it may have been overzealous to expect that Kenny and Jane would live through the whole season, considering how often people die in this series. But many players chose to travel with Kenny and Jane because they wanted to see their adventures with Clementine, and when they died mere minutes after being reintroduced, people were understandably angry. This was exacerbated by the flashback occurring right in the first episode, as if Telltale just wanted to kill them and move on. And the negative reaction to this is probably why they added another flashback in episode 4. But beyond Javi and Clementine, A New Frontier takes some steps back when it comes to the writing, plot, and characters. The Garcia family dynamic is well done, and Clementine's transformation is important to show, but otherwise A New Frontier tends to drag its feet. What made the groups in Seasons 1 and 2 so good is that their journey is tied to the development of Lee and Clementine's character arcs. But because the center point of A New Frontier is a family whose relationship mostly evolves independently from everything else, the other storylines fall by the wayside. There isn't enough time spent with these characters to really get to know them, which may have been a problem for some characters in previous seasons, but is much more pervasive here. It leads to A New Frontier being an uneven adventure, with a constant mishmash of highs and lows and an inconsistent quality, and it makes the other characters' deaths seem less impactful. In previous seasons, you knew that Lee and Clementine had to stay alive until the end of the game since they were the main protagonists, but anybody else could die at any second. Telltale wasn't afraid to take away someone that players cared about in an instant, showing how they affect Lee, Clementine, and the rest of the group. In this game, that's true of the auxiliary cast, but with the exception of Mariana, none of the Garcias are at risk of being killed until the very end. This further establishes the divide between the main cast and the supporting players, as anyone who isn't a member of the family just feels like another potential body to add to the count. These elements made A New Frontier a weaker entry than its predecessors, with many fans and critics noting at the time that the series had lost a lot of the magic that made seasons 1 and 2 work so well. People hoped that the 4th season, announced in July 2017, would bring back some of that magic, as it would be the end of Clementine's story. But it would also be the end for Telltale. In March 2017, it was announced that Kevin Bruner would leave his post as CEO of Telltale Games and that Pete Hawley, former VP of Games for Zynga, would replace him. While Bruner claimed he was stepping down voluntarily, others claimed that he was ousted from his position by Telltale's board of directors. The news came in the wake of then current and former Telltale staff coming forward with stories of the terrible working conditions at the company. According to many employees, the studio exhibited a constant state of crunch time, in addition to mismanagement from higher-ups, Bruner in particular, who often rejected or heavily revised ideas from staff and created an unfriendly atmosphere. The reason was that Telltale's management was fixated on the idea of replicating The Walking Dead's success, and so the company pumped out titles at a rapid pace, regardless of quality or innovation. But not only was this approach draining on Telltale's employees, it wasn't making them any money. Telltale saw diminishing returns on nearly all their projects after The Walking Dead, with even properties such as Minecraft and Guardians of the Galaxy failing to bring in the numbers the company expected. A major reason why is because in the years after The Walking Dead, Telltale faced increased competition. Many studios, from AAA producers to indie developers, including ones formed by ex-Telltale employees, were releasing their own narrative-heavy games that were inspired by Telltale. As these games took the medium in new directions, by comparison, Telltale was stuck in the past, relying on the same formula and refusing to evolve. All of these factors led to a major restructuring at the company in November 2017, where executives laid off about a quarter of Telltale's employees, most of which were reportedly management positions. The goal was to provide more hands-off management that let developers and designers work in a manner that emphasized quality over quantity. To that end, rather than produce multiple titles a year, 2018 would only feature one major release, The Walking Dead: The Final Season. The final season would once again place players in the role of Clementine and would act as a conclusion to her story as she takes care of a young AJ and searches for a place to call home. The writers crafted Clementine as a mature, level-headed young woman following her uncaring attitude in A New Frontier and built a setting that would serve as an ultimate objective for her and AJ to reach. In addition to this, Telltale was determined to shake off some of the criticism the company had received by making significant enhancements in both gameplay and visuals. The developers experimented with new gameplay mechanics not yet seen in the series to move beyond imitating the classic adventure game style, which by this point had grown incredibly stale.
I should play some Pokemon game, bro. What do I have? I should. I should play some TCG.
Telltale engine, which had been used for all of the company's games, was upgraded with new graphical features, with the most significant being the graphic black filter, which renders the game with harder black outlines and high contrast colors that resemble the original comic books. These improvements indicated that the company was headed in the right direction, and it appeared to mark the start of a fresh new era for Telltale. The first episode of the final season was released in August 2018, with the intention of releasing new episodes every 6 weeks. But while the second episode would be delivered in September, just a few days before it launched, a bombshell was dropped. On September 21st, Telltale Games announced that the studio would be shutting down. About 90% of their employees were forced to leave that day, with only a small skeleton crew remaining to finish up contractual obligations.
That's
This
crazy.
came as a shock to both Telltale employees, who were only given 30 minutes to pack up their stuff and leave and received no severance, and the gaming public. Reports that came out after the closure confirmed that Telltale had relied on money from its investors to stay afloat, as video game sales were barely registering anything. When all of Telltale's investors pulled out, management decided to cease production on all the studio's projects and close the company. What followed was a torrent of mournful and angry responses from fans, as well as initiatives to help the employees find new jobs and take legal action against Telltale for violating labor laws. There are several other videos that go more in depth on Telltale's closure, but for this retrospective, we're going to skip straight to a question on everyone's mind at the time. What did this mean for the final season? Only 2 episodes were finished and released, and Telltale no longer had a staff on hand to finish it, so would the game ever be completed? It turned out that it would, thanks to Skybound Entertainment.
And the crazy part, I was there for that. I was like, is it ever gonna be finished, bro?
Begun a game publishing division,
I already spent my
Skybound
money and
Games,
stuff,
who would
bro.
be responsible for the distribution of Telltale's Walking Dead games going forward. Robert Kirkman announced that Skybound had agreed to produce the last 2 episodes of the season, and that they would bring on laid-off Telltale workers, codenamed the Still Not Bitten team, to develop them. In addition, Skybound announced The Walking Dead: The Telltale Definitive Series, a re-release of all the games, including 400 Days and Michonne, that would launch in 2019 with new behind-the-scenes content and a feature to enable the graphic black rendering to all the games. Despite Telltale imploding on itself, Skybound and the Still Not Bitten developers were dedicated to seeing Clementine's story come to the right conclusion and giving players the resolution they desperately wanted. The end of Telltale's Walking Dead saga was at hand. The final season begins with Clementine and AJ some years after she rescued him from McCarroll Ranch, where the New Frontier had left him. After crashing their car in the woods, Clementine and AJ come across Erickson's boarding school, a community of kids and young adults who have made the school their home in the years after the outbreak. The two attempt to join the Erickson crew in hopes that they can finally settle down, but when a group of raiders threatens their safety, Clementine will have to fight one last battle before she and AJ can rest for good. While the game retains the same narrative gameplay, the developers changed the exploration to get away from the traditional adventure game style. The game features 360-degree camera movement that makes the player less restricted by what areas they can see or visit, which not only feels more freeing, but is also helpful in finding important objects. The developers also emphasized quieter moments instead of having a constant barrage of dialogue sequences like in previous seasons, bringing back puzzles that harken back to the beginning of Season 1. Some action scenes also discard the standard QuickTime events and button mashing to let the player decide where to move and what input to select, placing the player in real-time combat situations. The improvements may seem very basic, especially considering that many popular games had already adapted these new features by this point, but for The Walking Dead specifically, these are welcome additions. It makes the final season feel more like a video game than a narrative adventure, and while some may miss the old-fashioned gameplay, the changes are ultimately for the better. And not only do they make the game feel fresher than its predecessors, but it's also a sign that Telltale was willing to go beyond the basic blueprint they relied on for years. But for the story, the writers doubled down on what they excelled at, focusing on the relationship between a young kid and their protector. Clementine has evolved to the position of that protector, inheriting the same role that Lee did in Season 1. She's changed so much over the series, going through serious shifts in personality and attitude as she learned what it took to survive. The final season comes full circle, showing how deep Lee's influence has affected Clementine as she fits into Lee's position in her own way. It isn't a one-to-one comparison though, as Lee and Clementine have much different backgrounds to draw from as they guide their young protege. Lee was dealing with the Walker outbreak as it first started, so while he had the experience of living a normal life, he was less knowledgeable about what it takes to survive in the new world. But Clementine's been living in that world for most of her life, and she's learned so much about staying alive among the hostilities of the apocalypse, even if she isn't as used to what life was like before the Walkers. Clementine has had many teachers over the series, though most of what she learned about being human came from Lee, so when she talks to AJ, it feels very much like a reflection of her mentor. But it's also important to note that even though Clementine is the most mature and responsible we've seen her yet, she is still a kid, and she feels unprepared to deal with raising AJ right.
All those times you would ask me if we'd find a home, all I could ever tell you was, we'll see. And your face would fall every single time.
It's better than saying yes and lying to me.
And that's what I told myself. But you want to know something I didn't tell you? I never had a plan. I never knew where we were going. I never knew anything. I just fought and fought and fought and hoped you didn't notice. Hoped we'd find something before you did. Did I do a good job?
You tried really hard. That's all that matters, right?
It's part of it.
A big part.
No matter how much she goes through and how hardened she becomes, elements of her youth will still peter in, which, depending on your viewpoint, is either a weakness or an indication of her humanity. While the relationship between Clementine and AJ parallels the one between Lee and Clementine, there are key differences because of how AJ's personality compares to Clementine's in the first season. By this point in the series, the kids that survived have grown up used to the Walkers, and to live that long, they need the necessary skills and attitude. That's demonstrated through AJ, who is even younger than Clementine was in Season 1, but already knows a lot about surviving in the apocalypse. But when it comes to having a sense of morals and ethics, AJ doesn't yet have the capacity to understand the complexities of doing the right thing. Clementine knew what life was like before the Walkers, so she has something to look back on fondly, as well as a moral compass that aligns with what was once normal life thanks to Lee. AJ only knows a post-Walker world, and since he's still a developing mind, he's learning lessons from both Clementine and the world around him. Thus, it's Clementine's job, and the players, to guide AJ along, fully cementing Clementine's transition into a Lee-type figure. But that job isn't easy, and it highlights not just how difficult it was for Lee to do what he did, but also what the player's ultimate goal is in this season. Keeping AJ alive is only one part of the equation, because you also feel the need to teach AJ the right lessons and do the right things for his sake. What makes it so challenging is that AJ's grown up in an era much different from ours, and he has a perspective that can seem almost alien to us. If all you know is the apocalypse, then you'll grow up focusing on survival above all else, and you can only learn what it means to be a normal person from people who had that experience. Even if Clementine only had a few years to live a typical life, by taking care of AJ, she assumes the responsibility of bringing him up not just as a survivor, but as a person. That's what ultimately leads to the climax of the story, which deliberately harkens back to the ending of Season 1. Throughout the final season, there are multiple allusions to the first season, which culminates in an ending that is, in many ways, a remake of Lee's death scene that serves as a way to close Clementine's role in AJ's life. Just like Lee, Clementine is bitten by a walker, and she and AJ enclose themselves off in a place where they can be alone as she imparts some last-minute wisdom onto AJ. But while AJ's proved himself to be a capable survivor by this point and could reasonably live on his own given the right circumstances, this scene shows him struggling with the idea that that could happen. At times, AJ appears to care too much about survival above everything else, much like Clementine in A New Frontier, but this ending shows that he is able to make an emotional human connection.
I want to stay with you. I know what'll happen. And I don't care. I don't want to go. I just want to sit next to you and stay.
But in the end, AJ finds a balance between his survival instincts and his emotional core, and manages to make a decision that combines both mindsets, cutting off Clementine's leg to save her life. The scene initially plays out like Clementine is dying, but in the epilogue it's revealed that Clementine survived thanks to AJ's quick thinking. Now, some might view this ending as going against what the games had previously established as to how walker bites work, especially since Lee had the option to cut his bitten arm off and that didn't save him. And while it does seem like a bit of a stretch, it is the perfect way to cap off the season considering AJ's growth over the course of the game. AJ needs to be able to make the tough calls when necessary to survive, just like Lee was, just like Javi was, and just like Clementine was. Teaching him how to make the right decisions, even when you have limited time or knowledge, is one of the ultimate goals of the season, and in a broader sense, of the series in general. The other major goal of the final season is for Clementine to protect the kids of Erickson and make it a place where she and AJ can settle down. Erickson is a community of kids who, like Clementine, had little experience with life before the walkers hit, so they don't have the attachment to it as the adults have. They've also managed to survive for nearly a decade despite their youth by not just sharpening their endurance and tenacity, but also by keeping their morality in check and maintaining strong relationships with each other. Erickson is not just a band of survivors, it's a true community, and one that's stuck together despite the state of the world. We've seen plenty of communities before: Crawford, House Hardware, Wellington, Monroe, Prescott, the New Frontier, and more, and eventually all of them crumble. They often collapse because of the protagonists, but when you look at the people who inhabit them, they likely wouldn't have survived long anyway. Even 9 years later, the Erickson kids have kept the community running, perhaps because they were abandoned by the school's headmasters when the apocalypse began. They would be doing business as Telltale Games from that point onward. Looking back at Telltale's The Walking Dead, it's fascinating how the games end up reflecting the company who made them. The games in the studio became a hit almost immediately, becoming two of the most recognized and widely acclaimed names in the industry. But when they refused to evolve beyond the basics, people looked at them with disdain, and it brought them to the lowest points in their history. And as they started to experiment with new innovations and trying new methods of storytelling, it was all over. But it might not be over for long, as in 2019, LCG Entertainment acquired the rights to not only most of Telltale's assets, but to the Telltale name as well, and that they would be doing business as Telltale Games from that point onward. The new Telltale has announced that they, along with Ad Hoc Studio, were developing The Wolf Among Us 2, which the old Telltale had announced but had not started serious development on. It remains to be seen whether or not the new Telltale will avoid the mistakes of the original, but if they learned from the past, it might serve as a return to form for the Telltale-style adventure game. But while the original Telltale is gone, their legacy is not forgotten. Regardless of the studio's problems, what can't be denied is that they created an emotionally heavy experience that made people smile, cry, and feel for the characters they created.
That's facts. Anything crazy going on? Oh. We expose Ziggy worldwide on podcast. Come on, why are you doing this to them? Is that Renasia? GTA 4 is on there. I definitely need to get a controller, bro. Definitely need to get that Xbox controller. Dang, why I keep using these cards? Tails. No. God damn. Already? I get two of the same card. These cards that I have suck. Mm-mm. How am I? What? Sometimes I don't understand how it doesn't do no more damage. How it doesn't do no damage. Wait, who did I just destroy? Yeah, I'm done. Damn it. Okay. What is that? So, I knew it was gonna be a what's it called? I already knew it was gonna be a freaking EV card. What do I do with these though? You can exchange trade credits for individual cards in the deck editor. If you have the maximum number of card and obtain an extra copy, it will be automatically traded for credits. You can also earn trade credits by activating new tiers in the battle pass. Oh, you gotta use. You gotta use your points. Leafeon, Flareon, Vaporeon, Jolteon, Espeon, Umbreon. Am I missing an Eevee evolution? Keldeo. And it's the only Greninja card I have. Bro, is Greninja gonna be in the freaking new Pokemon game, bro? Man, where's everybody at? Oh, I'm about to play some Elden Ring. Maybe I'll go on Twitch and play some Elden Ring, bro. Who use EA? Do people still? You got Poppy playtime. This is my weird lobby. Oh, yeah, I got all the freaking Tomb Raider games on here. Well, not all of them, but I think it's all of them. Oh, I'm gonna use EA. Okay. Mm. Should be able to play Warframe. Bro, I had auto online. Damn it. I had auto. I don't feel like putting the password in. Oh, let's play Buckshot. Let's see if we can get people for Buckshot. Buckshot. Buck. Okay. Damn, where is everybody? I'll be right back, chat.
Hello, Unigers.
Hello?
Unigers?
Yeah, Buckshot. You play Buckshot, right? You said my Twitter account were banned. How I get banned? Let's see. All right.
Welcome to VRC Boxing.
What the hell? You booty. That Twitter's poop.
6, 7, 8, 9. If I get kicked again for asking to fight someone, I am going to fucking finger my own butthole.
What? What did he just say?
Listen, bro. No, man.
What did someone just say, bro?
Nicely, I'm gonna finger my own fucking butthole, man.
Ew. Just ew. That's disgusting. Wait, how do you fight people? Am I just supposed to stand here? I'm so confused what I'm supposed to do.
Touch gloves. Touch gloves. Alright, touch gloves. Touch gloves. Touch gloves. I'm good.
Alright.
Don't be. Yeah, but who's
How do
the
I
fighter?
how do I even fight?
Touch gloves.
fighting you now? I thought it was fighting him.
What is he supposed to be?
I mean, you with the combos.
Am I supposed to be in VR for this? Cause how the fuck? How am I supposed to hit? How do I fight?
Go hit the kid.
Don't hit me.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, those are baby
punches.
Baby punches.
All those dodges just to get knocked out with one punch.
Who'd you get knocked out by?
I mean, with the combo, bro. He's into the JoJo shit.
Yeah, that person all the way up there with the full body.
Come on, get up, bro.
Is that Venom? Oh no.
Have what?
He sounds like Venom.
Oh yeah. Torque that little belly in.
Wait, reset the game. It's not letting me up.
What if that's like Venom?
Amazing, bro. Amazing. Saving that video for years. It's Thanos.
Thanos hit the whip.
Thanos. Where you see Thanos at?
Bro, what are y'all doing? Bro, what are y'all doing?
It's Louis.
I don't know who I'm fighting.
Yeah, it's Louis.
What the hell? Bro, is there a song?
Yeah, there's nothing to watch here, bro. Absolutely nothing to watch here.
Bro, what is going on around here? What is going on?
What is going on? I don't know.
People talk about fingering buttholes. Like, what the hell?
What? I thought this was a boxing world. What are y'all talking about?
I don't even know what is this.
Bro, I 3-0'd this kid. He had tracking in his controller, and I had finger tracking, bro. And it was one of them fights that had like 150 health, bro. Give me it. Mwah.
What? He disappeared on my screen.
I need to get some batteries.
Shit.
Can you give me, yo, can you give me some batteries? Mid-fight, fighting that kid, my batteries ran out. Both of them. Ironic. Can I have some? I got some batteries. I know that. I'm thirsty. I like it.
Moan. Alright.
I'm trying to figure out what the hell is going on around here. Are you trying to beat me up?
Yes, sir.
Why? Ew, I think your hand is broken.
No, I just have finger tracking on. It's really slow. This kid had so fast movement. I was.
Whoa! Why are you grabbing your fingers like that? Why are you looking at your fingers like that? Hey, you just stay over there. You just stay over there. I don't like the way he was grabbing. I don't like the way he was grabbing his fingers.
What, going like this? Going like this? Speaking of this?
No, the other hand.
This one?
Yeah, like why is it? Why?
Dude, why can I not turn
I thought you was gonna fight. You're not gonna fight nobody. You just gonna stay here.
I'm gonna
Or
fight someone. I'm just observing at the moment.
Fight me, this guy.
Oh yeah. Well, maybe I will. Maybe I will.
Yeah, you finna get 3-0'd like that.
is this a damn frog? I feel like y'all be high playing this. The hell is that? Freaking Bonnie versus Gogeta?
It's pretty hard. None of us have got a point
I'm gonna fight you. I'm gonna fight you.
I said Gogeta. I'm dumb. What's his name? Oh yeah, Bruh, why does Bordock sound like that? That shit was deep as hell. That shit was deep as hell. Bro, if you don't beat him up, bro, he's an animatronic. He's just made out of metal. Is it just me already lagging?
The giggler. I don't know what you're talking about. I thought never mind.
Why are they so tiny?
How do you not know yourself?
Mini lad.
Why are you so tiny?
Stop.
No, I don't know.
I don't know. You're just tiny, I guess.
Yo, it's cartoon.
Mini lag.
Cartoon, bro.
It's cartoon.
Your beard off cartoon. You got that long ass beard.
Yeah. I actually don't remember who he is. I can't even say anything.
Cartoon,
I'm just unknown, bro.
Isn't he the black friend? His black friend?
Nah, but the cartoon's isn't black.
Cartoon's black. I thought he's black.
No, he's not.
I'm just unknown, bro.
I think he's like.
Oh look, it's a frog in a taxi.
Let me get in the back.
What the hell? You can get in the back? That's a thing? That's a thing? I didn't know that was a thing.
I don't know.
Like, they just hopped in the back. Look! Look! What the? They just hopped in the back. Look, it's still driving around. What the?
This might be the longest ride.
Finally, your avatar. Oh, drip.
What are you punching? Are you punching his stomach? You should be punching his head, bro. You should go for that knockout. Punch his head, bro. What is, bro? I don't even think this is I don't even think this is UFC no more, bro. I don't know what this is.
I don't know.
Do you see? Type of
They're just slapping each other.
Exactly. There's no punching going on.
No punching whatsoever.
Bro, this is not freaking Jerry Springer.
Out of each other.
Exactly. This is not Jerry Springer, bro.
Is it funny? That's Omni-Man.
My stomach started to hurt out of nowhere.
Hold on. Because you're fighting.
What?
Yeah, I'm fucking playing that movie. Yo, why is he breathing so loud?
Fight me in boxing.
I'm surprised none of them got knocked out.
Bro, I'm on fucking PC. Oh, you better go crazy. You better knock him out.
You better knock him out.
You better knock him out.
What the fuck is that? What's
Some baby
that?
punching. Do some baby punching.
Do I not have gloves? What is this?
Punch him. What are you doing?
Hey, what's up, homie? Oh, you said you want to
Just
go?
punch him.
Okay.
Where's your face at?
You gonna let him punch him?
I can't do fucking nothing. Where's my
You can't kick, bro. This is boxing. This is boxing. This is not kicking. This is not UFC.
No, you have to kick. You have to kick. Trust.
Bro, this is not UFC, bro. This is boxing.
I'm slowly running.
Yeah, just run. Just run. Just run. You can't win. Just run.
I can't get the... Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay.
Oh, you going crazy now. Oh, you going crazy now.
Knock him out. Knock him out. Knock him out. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Knock him out. Breathe, breathe. Oh. It looked like he was going. Knock him out. Knock him out.
Oh, shit. You got him on the... Never mind.
Come on. Hit him with some...
Superman punch.
I don't even know what's going on.
Superman punch him.
Look at the frog, bro, with the taxi, bro. What are you doing?
I'm short. Can't reach your fucking face.
Flash him real quick.
Did you win? I don't even know. How does someone even get knocked out in this?
I don't even know it. Well, it's because my fucking gloves weren't equipped. It was fucking weird.
Take my advice, come on.
Take my advice is crazy.
She fucking him up.
Where'd my hand go? What the fuck?
Yeah, why your hand like it's breaking?
My hand keeps fucking breaking.
It's a Pichu. What's good, Pichu? You trying to be my Pokemon? Oh God.
It's too hot in this damn country. I fucking hate it.
What? This man just said it's too hot in the country.
Yeah, I'm in Australia at the moment. It's too hot.
That is hilarious.
That sucks so
Stop
bad.
being a woman and being a man.
What?
Grow some nuts.
I do got some nuts.
You got some
God damn! That frog got some big nuts. Look at him.
Ain't that right? I'll slap him with my badass nuts every day.
The fuck?
Don't lie. You
I need to get changed. I am wearing the wrong outfit right now.
The fact that the frog is bopping while driving around.
You're spinning me around. Oh yeah, this one was hard. Go crazy. Go crazy.
I can go. Yes.
Whee! I don't even know what's even going on. I don't even know what is going on.
When I'm Foxy, bro, let's just say bad things happen. I'm being your mom.
Is that Kaneki? Nope.
YouTube video, 90% sound, 20% damage.
Did you figure out what happened to your hands? Like your hands just kept breaking. How does someone look How does someone look for an avatar? Ew.
Oh, is that the one when he gets beaten by his dad?
No, that's a variant. That's not. He killed his dad. No, I don't know if he killed his dad. I think he did. But Invincible is the main. Invincible. Like this one got beat up by his dad. This one got beat up by his dad.
So how did multiple of him came to be? Wait, so where did they come from?
So listen. So there's this one guy that wanted to.
They came from your mama house.
Because I guess he fucked up his thing, and he like there was a big ass explosion, and now he had like this big ass tumor in his head. Invincible killed him.
I think he said. Wait, remember? I think you're spoiling it for him. I think you're spoiling it for him.
No, he has the avatar pushing him. Well, so he tries to go for his family, but like they start fighting, and eventually, he starts he lies on the ground, his head's all smushed in, and then he was like, I thought you were stronger. He is
You thought it was over.
He gets PTSD for like.
You thought I was feeling you? You a munch.
Eventually he came back to life after all that, and then
And he became a munch.
like 18 variants of him go to his universe and beat his ass.
Look at this fake mask. That's fucking crazy. Oh, you made him mad. You got his reaction. Okay, big ass one. The strongest one. The strongest one.
The strongest Invincible is regular.
Don't fight. Don't fight me. Don't fight me. Don't fight me. No, I'm an innocent Texan.
Hey, what's up, fellas? What's up, pals? What's up, compadres? What's up, chums?
What up? What up?
What's up? What's with
And you
this
tall
man?
as hell.
What's with him?
I don't know.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Where are you supposed to be?
Bro, I'm invincible.
What's wrong with him? Did he get fucking burnt?
Invincible.
Love that.
What are you doing, bro?
Here.
I know. I'm awesome. I'm totally awesome. Totally.
Okay. Bye then.
Oh, it's that dude from Skyrim.
Mhm.
That big ass. Yo, that guy was always.
Did you figure out the controls?
Yeah. They forgot I got one.
Say, use your ego.
Did I do good?
Yeah, you actually did good.
There we go.
I need to know Abby on. Can you give me a sec? Alright, here we go. Touch gloves, respect, yep. Oh, what the?
Right. Ooh.
Why am I fighting fucking?
God damn. Just like that?
That was fucking quick.
Just like that?
Okay. Damn, okay. Fuck.
You can sit down, it's crazy. Ew.
It's allergies.
Really? Is allergy season?
Yes. I got.
Hey, guess what?
Oh. What?
Hey, guess what? My favorite character is
Oh,
Ichigo.
I know what you're talking for. Oh.
Oh no. Oh
Ichigo.
Yep. What the hell is that? What are you? At least I wasn't the only person that saw that.
My ass crack fully out.
Yeah, he keep knocking you out, bro.
Is he the world champion? Oh shit.
Hit him in the head. Hit him in the head.
Yeah.
One glove blocking your. One glove block your face. The other one hit.
Whoa. Whoa. One at a time. Oh, okay.
There you go. We almost got him. And then
What is he doing? What is this? What? 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 What was that?
Oh, you're sucking here now.
Why was he waving his hand like that? Oh, you gotta go over here and then press exit. I think it's somewhere over here and then press exit. It's something.
Okay, there's a ring collider in here that you can fuck with. So if you want to, you can just walk in, or you can walk out. Try and reach your hand as much as possible over here.
Oh yeah, reach.
You gotta fucking.
It's gotta like.
There you go.
Just press it.
Yeah.
Yay! What is that? I don't even think you call fight like that. Can you even fight like that? How? Where's your face? Like, your face is way up there. Why do you look like? Why do you look like something from an anime? Look like an anime boss. Why is this a wannabe Sonic, bruh? Sonic, bruh. You in the wrong game.
Thank you. That's my.
He's using his spell technique where he floats a little bit.
What?
I guess.
How's okay? This man just knocking anybody out, bruh. There's no way that this man just keep knocking people out easily. What is that? What is that? Can you describe that to me? Can you describe to me what I'm looking at? Like, look over there.
Some ogre ass motherfucker. I don't know. Hang on, I'm ranting to my brother real quick.
Oh, brother, motherfucker.
It's a Roblox?
I'm shattering my boundaries.
Disgusting.
Okay. Listen.
Damn, she left? I was connecting.
WRC Boxing.
Wait, what?